What stands out to you most about the Hornets? I know they're pretty good in the paint, good at rebounding. How do you kind of take advantage there?
Well, you can't look at their record. They're going to be a solid team out there on both ends of the floor. Cliff's teams have always been solid on the defensive end of the floor. Showing a tight paint, making you work really for everything that you get offensively. They're going to be patient, and they're going to play late in the shot clock and make you defend. So you got to be disciplined against his teams.
What have you seen from your consistency? I know I asked last night, but now some time to recalibrate again. Just the consistency over the last 5 games of how this team's playing on both sides of the ball.
Well, one thing that we've been doing a better job of attacking the basket, being aggressive, playing downhill. Last night, both teams were hot, shooting the ball. We can't be fooled by that. We only shot 16 free throws in last night's game, and most nights you're not going to shoot 56 from the floor, 38, 39 from the three. You're going to have to get to that free throw line. So I'd like for us to continue to be aggressive, getting downhill, getting to the basket, and forcing the defense to collapse. And if we get kickouts from that, getting to the free throw line, I'd like to see us consistently do that.
I know for much of the season we've talked about you guys having those meetings of going over what exactly it is you guys need to kind of pivot away from, but what would you say this time around is the catalyst, especially considering you guys have been on a 5-game streak?
I think our starts have been good, like last night, both teams were hot. We had to find a way to get stops. It took us 4 quarters to do that. The fourth quarter, we were able to mix in some zone and defend the paint and, contest some shots and force them to miss. So the consistency is both ends of the floor, establishing your defense, offensive execution, being the aggressors on both ends of the floor. And, so that is the consistency that you're looking for every night.
Nate, speaking of runs, last night you all started third quarter on a 19-3 run, beginning of the fourth, a 23-6. Over the 5-game winning streak, you've had those spurts. Is there anything particular you attribute being able to go on those runs and open games up?
Well, we've talked about getting off to good starts, especially the first and third quarter, really establishing ourselves the start of those 2 quarters and establishing the tempo. So, and we've been able to do that in this streak. So we just need to be consistent with the start of the game. You're not always going to, get off to great starts, put up 35, 38 points. But we've been able to do that in our last 5 games in that first and third quarter. And we've been able to really sustain that effort for the full game.
And beyond even the starts to different quarters, seeing the finishes late, being able to put a team like the Knicks away and not allow it to even get to be close, that has to be encouraging as well, I imagine.
Yeah, well, you have to finish, and so we've always talked about getting off to a strong start and finishing strong as well, and we've been able to do that in this stretch. But the consistency in how we're playing, the style of play, is what I want our guys to understand, that we can do this. And every single night we come out, we play connected basketball on the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, we're getting good movement. We're getting more attacks to the paint. We're showing more patience on the offensive end of the floor, and we're spreading the ball around and taking advantage of the defense with our ball movement. This is something that we can do every single night, and I think if we continue to be consistent at playing the game the right way, you're going to give yourself a chance to win.
Coach, before the start of these 5 games, was there any one or multiple guys that kind of challenged everybody else or took a leadership role to say, we've got to turn things around, we need to start stringing wins together? Was there 1 or 2 particular guys who kind of took that leadership role?
Coach McMillan. is Coach McMillan. That's a challenge. And yeah, we talked about it. We talked about where we were, and you know what we needed to do really to finish this season. Really, it started the second half of the season is when we had the conversation about where we were, and you know, just put it up on the board where we are right now, where we're trying to get to, what we're trying to accomplish the remaining of this season, and the things that we need to do to give ourselves a chance to get into the playoffs. So yes, there was a conversation with the team about that, and you know, we've been able to have some success. You know, one of the challenges for us right now is to do better at home. You know, right now we're 13-9 at home. We got to do better here in our building because the road is so tough. And this second half of the season, you know, that's the challenge to our guys.
I wanted to go back to the defensive side of the ball really quickly. I was curious if you've seen any uptick in communication in these last stretch of games versus maybe the beginning of the season when guys were starting to get to re-know each other.
Absolutely. I mean, we're playing good basketball, you know, so a lot of things are better. I think the urgency is better, certainly the communication is better, the consistency is better. So yes, you know, we're playing better basketball, and you know, to win, you know, 4 or 5 games in a row, you know, those things they must happen.
How'd you like that zone last night?
Yeah, well, it's a part of our package, and we've been able to, you know, sprinkle that in at times, and to try to disrupt rhythm, to slow a team down, you know, and it has really worked well against New York. We were down big in New York, down 20, and used the zone, and it allowed us to come back and eventually win that game. So it's part of our defensive package, and we try to, you know, see when there's opportunities to use that, and we've had some success with it.
With Bogey being out tonight, is that a situation where you go into last night knowing you're going to sit him today, or is there a reevaluation on the second day of a back-to-back? How are you sort of managing Bogey and his knee?
Yeah, we have to look at all of that. You know, we look at the game that he is playing, and you know, there's definitely some doubt that he'll play in the back-to-backs. You know, so but you don't. You're trying to win that game, and once you get out of that game, then you will monitor where he's at and get a feel for where he's at, and if he can go the next night. You know, so our focus last night was he was questionable for last night's game. He felt good in his warm-up and wanted to give it a try, and you know, we played it, and there was really no restriction as far as minutes that I had to play him. So the thing was to try to win that game last night, and then see how he feels today. And today was a day that we felt we needed to sit him down.
Any final questions? All right. Thank you, Coach.